So I want to a very interesting story. Recently I celebrated my 12th wedding anniversary. As a matter of fact, that was last Sunday. And I look back and I was very, very happy, sincerely, that God brought us this far. It's actually a very, very exciting time. And it was actually a very exciting thing for me because I knew how we started. It was really tough when we started. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I wanted to ask a question. What do you do with your wedding gifts when that day of your wedding, right? A lot of people bring in gifts. So what do you do with those gifts? Do you just open them immediately and start using them, or you wait for a pastor to come pray for them before you open them, or you just start using? Now, whether you like it or not, life is spiritual. Yes, life is very spiritual. I'm going to share a story of what happened on my wedding day. On my wedding day, we started very, very small. My husband and I just finished school. I finished my NYSC, and it wasn't long. My husband came, and then we got married. He was just a young man that was starting life. He was struggling. He wasn't so he didn't have money. But something happened. That time when you're trying to do your wedding, you have to gather money to do one thing or the other. So, and it wasn't that easy. Things were not as expensive back then as it is now. So something spectacular happened on my wedding day. When people brought in envelopes for gifts, they come, they spray you money, they spray you money. Or that time we already had this idea of people not touching you with money. So they were spraying on the ground, but people will bring in envelope. Guess what happened? After the wedding, we got back into the hotel room, and my chief bridesmaid and the best man, no, my chief bridesmaid and a friend were the ones opening the envelope. We saw a 5 naira note torn into two equal halves, put in our envelope as a wedding gift. Me being a very spiritual person, I already knew that that was an attack on my marriage. And because for goodness sake, who will put a 5 naira in an envelope as a wedding gift? And that 5 naira was torn into two equal halves. To me, the understanding I got from that was um, it was more like an arrow to break the marriage through finances, an arrow to tear the both of us apart through financial challenges. And when I saw that, I was shocked. I was actually shocked. So the little understanding I had was to, also take a seed to the altar and pray on an altar that I believe in. And I told God, fight this battle for me. This is altar versus altar, because nobody will carry a 5 naira note, put in an envelope. But before the person put that 5 naira in an envelope, he tore it into two equal halves and brought it for me as a wedding gift without an ulterior motive. There was a very negative motive to that act. So I took a particular amount of money that had five in it, and I took it to the altar of God. I prayed. I told God, whatever the motive of this person is, I return it back to sender. And whatever their agenda is, if it's to scatter my marriage through financial struggles, Father, I return it back to sender. I will not be a victim. I'm not going to lie to you. From the very beginning, it was really tough. We struggled financially. My husband struggled a lot financially, and we went through a lot financially. But we are not yet there. But what the devil planned for us, for my marriage to maybe have broken through finances, it did not happen. That's why when this 12th anniversary was coming, I was so happy. I was very grateful to God. Even though on the day of my anniversary, the devil still tried to bring a lot of distraction this last anniversary. But we were very excited at how much God has done for us. We're very excited at how far God has brought us. And I also want to use this to let people know, especially for the young people married, life is spiritual. Life is very spiritual. Beyond the physical preparation for the weddings, beyond the physical preparation, please, your prayer altar has to be on fire. And number two, now aside that envelope that was opened, usually what happened on my wedding day was all the gifts were gathered and we called a pastor to pray for our gifts before we opened the gifts. But the financial cash, my chief bridesmaid, I didn't touch it. My husband did not touch it. It was my chief bridesmaid that was opening the envelopes. And then we saw the 5 naira turn into two. She was opening it and gathering the monies that were brought in that envelope. So when gifts comes for you on your wedding day, you need to be very sensitive. You don't touch those gifts. If you believe in, maybe if you want a pastor to come pray for you like they did for us, it's actually wisdom. Or if possible, a friend of mine gave her own to orphanage. She packed the whole of her wedding gifts and transferred all to an orphanage home. Because I can tell you a lot of marriages were attacked on their wedding day through gifts. So you need to be very, very sensitive and you need to be very, very careful. If you've encountered such similar stories, can you please share with me under the comment section what happened on your wedding day? What kind of gifts did you collect that looked odd? Those kind of very odd gifts. Can you share with me and what happened after, what you did, or how you maneuvered the situation? I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.